rather than me focusing on what this person has and what that person has, when I'm conscious about it, I center back in and I say, well, if I am a hardworking person, if I work my hardest every day, if I seek to grow every day, if I'm focused and I set goals and work toward those goals, I may not beat out every single person on the planet, but that doesn't really matter. What's going to happen though is I'm going to have some success come out of this. Good things will be created from this. And so focusing on the internal is really, really important in a world that teaches you to look at the external, right? And that to me, that's a principle I've applied since I was in college. When I was in undergrad, for example, I used to get really frustrated because teachers would pick what grade they want to give you. And I liked classes like math because I could make an argument to say I got the problem right and you marked it wrong. That's pretty straightforward. But when you get to something like English or creative writing, I mean, who really knows if that essay is an A plus or a B or a C, right? So I had this constant anxiety over the fact that I couldn't control what grade they give me. So I said, instead of me focusing on what I can't control, I'm gonna focus on what I can control. And what I learned at 19 is I said, people who work hard, who study 4, 5, 6 hours a day, are usually gonna get what they pay for. Right? You're usually in life. This is the beauty of life. There's like in economics they might call this an equilibrium or just whatever, right? Usually you just get what you pay for. If some people want to fake it till you make it. They want to take the shortcuts. They want to do very little and get a whole lot. That's not going to usually work. The rule of the universe is usually you get what you pay for. If you make the extra sacrifice, then you will get the extra rewards. If you invest more, then you will have more wealth. People who have more wealth tend to be people who invested more. Am I right or am I right? Right? So at the end of the day, when it doesn't just apply to investing in stocks and bonds and real estate, it applies to investing in everything. So if you're investing more in your relationship, then your odds of having a good relationship are much higher than they would be if you didn't. If you invest more in your physical and mental health, then your odds of having those things together in a way or to be better off are much higher. Also, if you invest in terms of hard work in your outcomes, then you will usually get what you pay for. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes you invest a lot and you get a little. Sometimes you invest a little and you get a lot. But you can't rely on this false idea that I can invest a little and get a lot because that's going to lead to a lot of disappointment. And the world is full of people like this. I want you to look around and notice how many people you see who say, I want to have money. But when you say, well, how much are you investing? They say nothing. Well, how are you going to have money if you're not investing? Or if you say, or you say, well, how much time have you spent learning how money works? Well, none. Well, then how do you think you're going to master money and have money if you don't even understand money, right? So you're putting in the time, you're making the investment, and the reality is that the ROI, the rewards, the harvest, it may appear now, it may appear later, it may take a while, right? But the universe, they say energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just sort of switches form and changes hands and all that. You're putting energy into this, and there will be a benefit to this, right? So keep doing the right things. Keep working hard. Keep hustling. Keep pushing. Set a goal every day. Remember, excellence is a subscription that you renew every morning when you wake up. So every morning I spend a moment meditating, becoming conscious of who I am and the man I want to be today. Because there's 50 different versions of boys. There's the lazy voice, there's the unfocused voice, there's the voice who plays video games for hours, there's the voice who wants to go and watch football all day, right?